on this. So good morning and good afternoon to everyone. Thank you so much for being here today for our sorry, put it on the right page. Yeah, there we go. Thank you so much for being with us today for our current BIC Africa Diaspora Entrepreneurship Webinar Series session number 4, which is Dialogue with African Diaspora Entrepreneurs in Food. We will last for about 1 hour. We understand that everyone is busy and has other things to do, so we're very thankful for you agreeing to being here today. We want to run a very informal session. As you'll see, we have 3 very interesting speakers who will provide some background to what they're doing as entrepreneurs based in Europe, and then we would hopefully have a question and answer session and people to discuss what's going on and indeed the key aspects of what they've been doing. A very brief introduction first. Obviously, we're talking about an hour or so for this webinar. Again, we do want to make it sure it's very informal and with a focus on the success stories from African entrepreneurs. Just a very brief word about me. I work for BIC Africa. I'm the manager of an international area of a consultancy, and I've been working on a whole series of BIC Africa projects and activities, including boot camps, knowledge sharing, webinars, and some capacity building as well. With that, if you don't mind, I'll hand over to Christina for an introduction to BIC Africa.
Thanks a lot, Douglas. Thank you for the introduction, and thanks to our speakers for being here today. Thank you for taking the time. So my name is Christina Dax. I'm the project manager of the BIC Africa project. And I'll explain to you just in a nutshell what the project is about. Douglas, next slide, please. Right, so just to shortly begin, so I represent the organization called the European Business and Innovation Center Network, also known as EBN. So we're essentially an association with our head office in Brussels, Belgium, and we are the coordinator and actually the sole partner of the BIC Africa project, which is funded by the European Union, by DJ INPA. Yes, the project started actually in 2021 and is running until 2026. Just a few words about EBN itself. So actually EBN also started as an EC-funded pilot project at the time, back in '85, with a mission to support business innovation centers and incubators across Europe and beyond. So today, yeah, we've been active for about 40 years. Actually, we recently celebrated our 40th anniversary. And up until today, we provide basically a wide range of technical business support services. And we also have a specific core service related to quality assessment of business incubators. So actually, we give certification to business incubators in Europe and also beyond. This kind of certificate, it serves really as a sort of a proof to entrepreneurs who then would like to benefit from support services of such organizations that the so-called EU-BIC, the business incubator, provides high quality services. We are also involved in a number of European projects and other projects related to private sector development, to entrepreneurial innovation support, and so on. Next slide, please. Right, and now about the program BIC Africa itself. So it's part of a wider EU program called Support to Entrepreneurship and MSME Creation. So actually there are 5 what we call country projects, as you can see on the map, in Ethiopia, Somalia, Angola, Madagascar, and Comoros. The goal of each of these projects is very similar, although the exact programs vary amongst themselves. but essentially it is to establish and consolidate business incubators in the respective countries with the aim of creating a long-term impact, and specifically regarding job creation and creating sustainable livelihoods. So these projects are actually implemented by different organizations, different partners. 3 of them, as you see, Comoros, Madagascar, and Somalia, are implemented by UNIDO. In Ethiopia, a German consultancy company, Sequa, is the implementing partner, and in Angola, it is IFC. And on top of this 5-country project, BIC Africa project is a so-called 6th project. It's a regional network that aims to interconnect those 5 projects to build on what they are already on top of what they're already building, and provide additional complementary capacity building services. And also the aim is to interconnect, of course, the partners and the stakeholders of the 5 countries between each other, between themselves. Next slide, please. So we work directly, mostly with business incubators in the 5 countries, as mentioned before. But of course, the final beneficiaries are entrepreneurs, SMEs, and startups. Those who benefit from the services of the business incubators, essentially, that we work with. And we involve a number of other different stakeholders across the project. So we also work with policymakers, with universities, business angels, with EU delegations in those 5 countries, and so on. Next slide, please. Again, and just to give you a glimpse of what kind of services we provide to those incubators in the 5 countries. So we do capacity building and skill development services. We've held boot camps, local boot camps in each of the countries, and also virtual training online. We invite experts in the field from business incubators in Europe who give trainings and workshops to business incubator managers from the countries that I mentioned before. We also do services related to connections, so interconnecting European and African incubators. We did soft landing programs, for instance, where African incubators came to Europe to spend about a week's time and to better understand how their counterparts function and how a collaboration could possibly be built. And also a staff exchange, so that is inter-African. So for instance, we had an exchange program between incubators in Comoros and Madagascar, again, with the aim of building collaboration and gaining understanding of how their respective organizations work. Then building on EBN expertise, we also do quality assessment for those incubators involved in the projects. And we do other connection services. So the Diaspora webinar today is part of the networking activities we do in that regards. So I think I'll finish there because we'd really like to dive into the important topic of today, of course. And thank you again very much for being here and sharing your stories with us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Christina. That's for the introduction to BIC Africa and the variety of activities that it has. As you're saying, one of them is about Diaspora Entrepreneurs webinar series, which is what we're here to do today. Very quickly, just so to give an introduction before we get to the main part. Of course, the aim is to reach out to communities in Europe and beyond to encourage their involvement. The Diaspora involvement in the building and strengthening the ecosystems. We do that across a variety of sectors and a variety of countries, including, but we're not limited from, of course, the BIC Africa target countries, as you've just mentioned. Today, we're looking at food, the African Diaspora's activities within the food sector. We have 3 very, very interesting presenters today. As I said, it's going to be very informal. We don't have slides to show. It's more people expressing their interest and understanding and their experiences. and then seeing how, what discussion we can get going afterwards concerning these things. Our next one will be in the IT in a couple of weeks' time, and there'll be more information on that available. So without further ado, let's go into let me briefly introduce our three main participants, our three speakers today. I have 3 slides on them, 1 on each, and then they'll go into their discussions. The first one is Pamela Antoy-Peronaki. Obviously, these slides will be available, as will be the recording, to everyone. So I won't go through everything that the three presenters today have done, because that would take the full hour ourselves. But her work is rooted in entrepreneurship, sustainability, and ethical agribusiness. Many decades involved in food systems in the agribusiness and international trade sectors. Founding member and founder and CEO of Santa Mama Natural Projects. Also working for the FAO, which has a very strong current involvement of FAO as well, which I think is very interesting, and collaborating with industry experts to create new business models within the premium quality cocoa field. Also focusing on women's leadership, financial inclusion, and skills development. Of course, thank you so much, Pamela, for being here. And of course, we have your LinkedIn and company website available on the slides as well. The second speaker will be Maimomi Kanté-Kendrek, who is a French-based brand founder in 2021, specializing in teas, infusions, and honey. As you'll see from her discussion, it's very interesting. It comes from a passion for tea from her childhood experiences, and has moved that into high quality teas, infusions, and an entrepreneurial company, which I think will be very interesting indeed to hear about. And then thirdly, we have Oluwafemi Kicho, again Paris-based, and focusing on helping founders and brands across Africa transform bold ideas into visible, credible, and fundable ventures. Very passionate about the food sector, especially technology and innovation within the food sector and branding. Founding her own company in 2021. Also, as you can see, as with all our entrepreneurs here today, she has a much wider experience and knowledge and range as well, and is founder of the Women in Agri-Food, a global network for African entrepreneurs. Now, I wanted to be very quick. I hope you don't mind in describing those, because it's better to hear from the people themselves. And if that's okay, then maybe I can hand over to Pamela. If you have any questions, then please do put them into the chat, and I'll make sure that we ask them either during the presentation or at the end. So I hope that's okay, and maybe Pamela, I can ask you to introduce yourself and discuss your activities in the way that you would like.
Thank you so much, Douglas, for that introduction. Amazing, and again, appreciation for what you guys are doing. And so my name is Pamela Antoy-Peronaki, as I've been rightly introduced. I am an agribusiness social entrepreneur, and I've been in agri-food sector for almost 27 years now. My business fundamentally is supporting the production of various products in Uganda in particular, and then we trade all over Europe and the US, and we are now opening new markets in Asia. So the way my business is structured is a social business, because I believe that business must be there to solve a practical problem, and that's the only way, in one of the few ways, but in my opinion, one of the major ways to succeed in business is to actually make sure that your business has a very worthy idea, a specific goal, and in my case, it was to support the development of the rural communities in Uganda, and particularly supporting women entrepreneurs, women farmers. It's been a long journey, and a very interesting one at that. I am also a member of the European Spice Association, and been a board member for the Sustainable Business for Uganda. Right now, I am also technical advisor for the development of the cocoa value chain in Uganda. And obviously, development, the role in FAO also came mainly because of what I am doing in the field. In addition to that, I'm also coaching agribusiness entrepreneurs, specifically diaspora agribusiness entrepreneurs who want to start businesses with Africa and export where they are, or developing their own agri-food brands, getting into the market. So I support entrepreneurs along that journey. And initially, I was mainly coaching on, the strategy and, the practical aspects of business. And I realized there was one fundamental missing factor there, and that's mindset. And so coaching on human potential and mindset has become now an integrated part of my business model, whether I'm developing coaching practices for farming communities or for entrepreneurs who want to start their businesses. I think that many people in the sector, the key question is always where to start and how to start. I think that's a very difficult topic for many people, wherever they're based. How do I get into Africa? How do I find suppliers? How do I know that these suppliers are trustworthy? And how do I raise the money for the business? These are some of the key areas that everybody struggles with. And since initially I was coming from an FAO background before I started business, my first goal was to identify a business partner based in Europe. And of course, since I'm in Brussels, it took me quite a bit of time to search for a business partner who is based in Brussels and who has experience in doing business in Africa. And that's how I identified an Israeli company that was established in 1959 here in Brussels. And so they onboarded me and taught me a lot of things about international trade. And that's what I'm teaching in turn to many people. So my business model is really on contract farming, which in my opinion, as a diaspora entrepreneur, is the most effective because there are really difficulties that one meets along this business journey, especially when you're doing sourcing products from Africa, or you have to set a team down there. And so to set up a team and to train them, I had to have this a model that I can regularly check and control from far away. And that's why we started a contract farming model, which allowed us to develop a very consistent and a linear approach to working with the communities, how to engage them, how to train them, and then, of course, managing the resources that we are going into the business. That was more effective through a contract farming model. And most of our products are only for exports. We started recently distributing our herbal teas in Uganda. If you go through my website, you will see that we're distributing, we have a number of products, but we do distribute products also now locally in Uganda. Our market is mainly Belgium and the US and part of Italy. We also sell most of the products in bulk. So I export container loads of products from our farming communities in Uganda. My team is managing them, and then we export that directly to Europe. I think that basically now the main challenges that we are facing, and we have to figure out how to deal with that, is climate change. That is affecting a lot the market, is affecting production. But there's also been a change in the structure of the market. The big products that I deal with are cocoa, cacao for chocolate. And because of climate change, the supplies in many countries, in West African countries, are very, very highly affected. We've seen price volatility, and it's something that we have to address at a local level. And that means, how can we really manage to make sure that the communities become resilient to climate change? And that means introducing new ways of production, irrigation, planting trees, soil management, and all of this, that feedback directly into carbon capture. So by so doing, we are also creating a carbon sink for, in Uganda by planting a lot of indigenous trees, but by introducing products like biochar, which captures soil carbon. And so we kind of thinking broadly, producing income for the farmers. What are we delivering to our customers in the international market? How are we leading in environmental stewardship? And and then resources. Obviously, we are now focused more on raising climate funds. So I support entrepreneurs by also training them on these methods, because I believe that, with the changes that we are seeing now, it's one of the only ways that we can be able to continue sustaining our food systems, and also, delivering on our business goals. So I am available for whoever wants to have additional support in terms of building a complete value chain. I prefer to always work along the value chain, because then you can control that production much better. But also businesses that want to start at any level, maybe they provide packaging. Packaging is a big issue in Africa, whether it's a question of dealing with legal issues, issues of standards and food safety and so on. There's so much of that needs to be dealt with before actually being able to get your products into the international market. But also resource mobilization is becoming more and more difficult, and it's becoming more transactional in nature. That means that in order to be able to raise resources and try to avoid the very high interest rates that African banks are giving. I'm sorry to put it this way, but the interest rates are just unaccessed, makes it impossible to do business. But partnerships with businesses in the countries where you want to serve, where you want to export your products to, that is a very, very big thing, and an important way to be able to succeed. Right now, I'm working on a big partnership to start cocoa processing in Uganda, and we are going to put up one of the biggest cocoa processing facilities in Africa. And this will be like a game changer, because most of these processing facilities are really owned only by Western companies, and not many of them are set up in Africa. But through partnerships, we can address that differently. So, as I said, in order to make things happen, mindset is an incredibly critical part of the story. Because entrepreneurs tend to just stop sometimes when things go tough, and this is where you need to have models to work with, mindset models and human potential models that we work with. And in this case, I am also working with the Proctor Gallagher Institute, teaching their proprietary programs on, one is called Thinking into Results and Lead the Field. And basically these programs really show us how to set goals, how to pivot, and what the type of mindset and belief in yourself that you need to have in order to succeed with business. And finally, what I always actually advise almost all the entrepreneurs I work with as a part of my own life practices is, taking care of yourself. Fitness is so fundamental for success in business. And for me, it's a culture. All my team, everybody in the company must be engaged on a daily basis on some kind of personal fitness activity, and this is non-negotiable. But also, as we go forward now, we learn more and more. You avoid all sorts of diseases. Stress gets eliminated when you're physically active, to balance the physical activity and mental activity that we are engaged in every day. So I would just like to end there. This is my story. So I have a brand, I have different types of businesses, but I'm very happy always to share my story and to support other diaspora entrepreneurs. One thing I didn't mention in the beginning, that in Uganda, we have the Uganda Diaspora Agribusiness Entrepreneurs Network, and I'm a vice chairperson of the network. So we are really like focusing on helping diaspora in the agri-food sector. Thank you.
Fantastic, Pamela. Thank you so much. Very interesting. The mixture of mindset and physical fitness as well in terms of important aspects of entrepreneurship. Very interested indeed also in this idea of a new funding contract model you develop with your communities, and this idea of entrepreneurship having the core at a social having a social impact as well. Very interesting indeed. Thank you so much. If it's okay, what I'll do is then we'll go to our next speaker, which is Maya Morni. Maybe I previously introduced you, so maybe I can just hand the microphone to you and please do explain and introduce any aspect you think which is relevant, as Pamela did, about your life and work as an entrepreneur in the diaspora as a food entrepreneur.
Okay. Thank you so much. So I'm Maimouna Kanté-Kantrek. I'm an entrepreneur and founder of Maison Kanté, African House of Tea, based in Paris. So I prepare my my document because I don't speak English very well. So I will try to read and answer your question, and also available to answer your question at the end, if it's possible. So why I created this African House of Tea? I start my tea journey in 2016. The first, I focus on the Asian tea. And many people asked me very often, how come African women can talk about the Chinese tea? So I decided maybe not to stop my journey because I like this product, but I say I can maybe share another story and share my passion and maybe highlight my countries and my, comment dirais-je, my uniqueness. Huh? Yeah. So that's why I start the Kanté journey, and the vision is to highlight the African continent like a big producer of tea, but we are not very well known. So this is the first thing. And the second, when I decided to do that, I take contact first to different embassies, the countries who produce the tea, and they put me in contact to the tea garden in different countries like Rwanda, Malawi, Kenya. And I asked to receive my first African tea samples. It was in 2017. So it take little time to try to be in contact, to visit, to know how I can change this brand. So in 2020, I decided definitely to create this tea brand and change the first brand called Comptoir de Terroir. It was only Chinese tea. So, and after I decided to change and, comment dirais-je, try to share another story around the African continent. So the biggest challenge for me as entrepreneur and African entrepreneurs was the first, I think it was to believe in myself, to believe my vision, because when I start many people in the beginning, they say, we are not sure that is the time to sell African tea in Europe in French. So it was difficult for me, but the things don't change since the first. It was my vision to say, I know it will take time. I have maybe to do a lot of education to share, to talk about, but I'm definitely sure African teas have a place on the international stage. So this was my first challenge, to know that and to try to work directly with the producer, the tea garden in different countries in Africa, and also with a lot of cooperative in Togo, in Mali, Senegal, or in Guinea. Is to, for me, I do that to know where is from the tea and what kind of story is behind this product. I want to know and to be sure I can sell the same quality every time. This was my challenge because we have a lot of product from Africa, but sometime in Europe and like Kante, we have on va dire, the premium position. So it was the challenge for me to be, comment dirais-je, artisanal and to do the high quality and attend the European market. That's why today our tea is available on Galerie Lafayette or that kind of big store in Paris. And my vision for the long-term vision for Kante, today for me, African is like the source. So the world is the stage on who I can talk about, I can share, I can try to distribute African product. Today we have the tea, it's a tea house, but we also have the honey from Togo, from Benin, and we also made the candle, the flavored candle in the tea flower, you know. I think you understand my English, okay? So I wanted definitely to share African teas and terroir to shine internationally. In the future, I imagine Maison Kante to have the tea house in the major capital in the world and also in the different countries in Africa. Because today, if you see Africa, like Kenya is the third producteur, le troisième producteur mondial de thé, but only 7% the production is, comment dirais-je, est consommé sur place. So today, our challenge is also to say, African people, we have the excellent product. We have, and we are the first ambassador for African continent. So if we don't start to use and to share our product, not only the tea, but African have a lot of potential, but we need all of African people to do this job, to share, to use, and to try to talk about. So this is the real challenge because we have a lot of tea, but if the African tea leave Mombasa, for example, they can come back on a new identity. So we don't never talk about African countries We just say the tea brand, like English tea brand, European tea brand, but don't say this tea blending, it's before from Africa. So today it's the challenge for me to invite all of people. The first to know you can find a good tea in Africa, and to try to put on light to give the visibility. My journey in Kante, I start 5 years ago. And since today, Kante is self-funded. That's why a few days ago, I love my campaign, the crowdfunding campaign, to invite people to come and together try to, comment dirais-je, to grow, hein? Comment on dit, to go next level, you know, this journey and this African tea house. So if I have to say something to the entrepreneurs or someone who have the passion and hesitate for the moment to do something, I just to say, don't wait to be the good time. Don't wait to make your vision or your product very perfect. You can start. And for me, the entrepreneurial, it's a big school. You have to grow with your vision. You have to invest on yourself, on your vision, on your capacity. So if you start small, you can grow with your product or with your enterprise. So don't hesitate. You can try to ask the tips to another entrepreneurs, because we have to fail and, comment on dit, se mettre debout. Hein? It's a very, okay, help me to translate, maybe, you know.
To stand up, I don't know.
Yeah, you will fail and stand up. For me, Kante, if the people say, they will say, okay, good, it's very easy. But my God, I don't know how come I failed and how come I get up, you know, to say, I believe my vision, I know what I want, but it take very long time. That's if you want to do something, I think it's not interesting to do just because someone else do and walk there. No, your journey, your vision, it's yours, not for someone else. So you have to be, for me, the entrepreneur is like to give, comment dirais-je, donner vie, to give life to a baby. You know, you will have a lot of baby boy, but everyone have unique baby boy. So it's like entrepreneur. So do what you believe and do what for you never be tired, you know, to try and try again. So this is my, comment dirais-je, my advice to say the entrepreneurs, everything is possible. Just believe and just decided to work very hardly. Because between the excellent and the good, there are just a few details. So these details can change everything, you know. So, and if I have to say maybe the last word is, for me, we have the power to change the narrative. We can give a new face to Africa, and we can share the excellence, you know. So thank you so much. And I'm available and I'm open to exchange and maybe the collaboration to see how we can grow up together.
Fantastic.
So much.
Thank you so much. First of all, thank you so much. A very passionate, very interesting discussion. First of all, the English is fine. Don't worry about that at all. So thank you, thank you so much. and very interesting how developing the quality aspects of tea, honey, and candles. Also, the idea to move into try to make sure that people understand the quality of African products. And I very much like the ending, the power, the narrative, the power to change, the power to have an impact through entrepreneurship, through society. It's very, very interesting indeed. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
If it's okay, I'd like to. Sorry, we didn't show your pictures, but we have your pictures here as well. Your discussion was so interesting. I forgot to show the pictures. My apologies.
Yeah, this is a new range that we launched a few days ago. So we need everyone, because I believe everyone have the power to join us and do this vision, the reality, and help Kante and my team to do this new range, the reality. That's why we love, because since I start my tea journey, I do everything by myself, and the like financement or that kind of things, it's self-funded. But sometimes, you have to go, comment dirais-je, to go far. And today, I can't support this vision just by myself. That's why I invite everyone to join us and to share African tea story, around this new year, this new range. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. Yes, indeed. And of course, all these products and information is available on your website and LinkedIn, which is part of the slides. Very cool. Very cool indeed. Our last speaker today is Oluwafemi. So maybe I can just very much ask you to take over and as
going to be very
have,
difficult after Maimuna's speech. After Maimuna's speech is going to be a little difficult to top that. I want to thank everything she's doing, because I'm in French also, and I think that I know a little bit about Kante. I saw her, I think, 1 or 2 times. So I want to say congratulations before starting my speech, because she is I think, one of the reasons that I am in this field. So if we have many entrepreneurs like Maimuna, I think that will be at ease and it will be more easy to do my job. So I want to say that I will be happy to be at your side as an investor if you need something, because I think that what you're doing is great and you're telling a good story of Africa, and we need that. So
yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much for that. So thank you, BIC, for this invitation. I am truly honored to join this conversation alongside inspiring entrepreneur. My name is Oluwafemi Kijo. I am an entrepreneur, a strategist, and I like to call myself as an ecosystem builder in the food industry. My mission has always been to build bridges between Africa and the world through food. And this journey began many years ago when I first came to France, like 12 years ago. I want to share with you a little story of how all of this started. I joined, when I first came in France, I joined a melting pot group. So we have people of different nationalities. They're from many countries. So in this melting pot group, we were invited to prepare a dish from our country. And I was so excited, and we went to one of the most well-known supermarkets to buy our ingredients. I will not say the word of the name of the supermarket, but when I arrived there, so it was 12 years ago. So I think things take time, like Maimuna said, but we are a lot of change coming. And so when I was there, I had a shock. Like, African products were either missing or poorly presented, or sometimes even hiding on the dusty shelf. Like, this is the thing I saw. at the back, like we have all the product and you have some African product in the back, or I don't know. It was not telling a really good story for me. And I think that they were treated like, I don't know, exotic curiosities, I don't know, but not as legitimate products, And that moment really marked me. And because I knew that our food were not marginal, they carry centuries of knowledge, resilience, and identity. And they deserve respect, visibility, and real market opportunities. And that frustration became my fear, because it pushed me to dedicate my work to changing this narrative. So to act on this, because I didn't want it to be just an activist, talk about it, inspire people. I think it's important, but I decided that what can I do to help change this? So I created Dokunvi. Dokunvi mean child of wealth in my language. I'm from Benin, and it's a consulting and strategy firm that help African origin brand become export ready, invest ready, and globally competitive. So at Dokunvi, we developed 3 pillars of expertise. As a brand strategist myself, branding, people think that branding is just about logo or colors, but I think that branding is really about identity, positioning, and what you promise. And without branding, the best product can remain invisible. We can have the best product in the world, but if you don't have a branding that will help you, I don't know, share this, I don't think it will have great impact. So with branding, I think that even a small product can cross oceans. It's about how you're telling the story. And I think this is one of the things that Maimouna is doing great by telling another story of this product to cross oceans. So at Dokunvi, we help entrepreneurs move from just selling a product to building a brand that inspires trust, credibility, and pride. This is really the main things for me. It's to be proud of what we have. I think it's Pamela that's talking about mindset earlier. In this field, you have to have the right mindset also to know that, okay, this product that I have, this thing that I have from Africa has value. So it starts from ourselves. We have to know that the thing that I have in my hand had value, in order to share this value, in order to share another story around this. So after that, we move in Dokunvi to structuring and strategy. It's become before even branding, because too many African brands are carried by passion, everything starts by passion sometimes, but lack structure. Structuring meaning having a business model, processes, compliance, governance that can survive growth. And strategy means thinking beyond today. How do you move from local sales to exports? How do you move from the client that you have today to move on the bigger clients? How do you prepare for investor? So without structure, a business burns out, and the entrepreneur also burns out. And after that, at Dokunvi, the third pillar that we have is clarity and cash flow. This is my signature methodology, because I need that first we have to clarify who you are, who you serve, what problem you solve, and why are you different. Then cash flow means translating this clarity into revenue, margins, and financial resilience. Because let's be honest, passion is not enough. If you don't master your number, if you don't generate cash flow, you cannot sustain your impact. You cannot sustain anything at all, and you will be frustrated because you will want to move on. But without having this structure first, this solid foundation, it will be really difficult. So those 3 pillars, we're supporting entrepreneur to grow with discipline, because you need a lot of discipline in order to do that. Ambition also. And Maimouna saw something that is really interesting. Is she said that she has the vision. And I think that every entrepreneur here, we started a vision. To be an entrepreneur for me is to be a magician, like you are believing in something that does not exist, and is only exists in your mind. and you the one that making it live, and I think that entrepreneurship is just amazing. It's not easy every day, but I think it's possible. It's possible when you are not alone and when you can ask help. Because we are, as an African woman, we are really, strong women and everything. And I think sometimes it's okay to say, okay, I have done my best. I took it from here to here. Can you help me take it from here to here? So I think this is why ecosystem is really important in this, and this is what I advocate. Like, how can we build ecosystem from entrepreneur, from people like Pamela and Maimuna can work together, from people like you that I hearing to know what can I put at the service of the ecosystem from a better narrative around our businesses. So consulting, I thought that consulting is not alone is not enough. We also need community, like I was saying. We need visibility and we need to share the power. We need to share the light among us. And this is why I founded Women in Afro-Food, WINA. We are very young but very ambitious. Women in Afro-Food took place in French, and we are opening a chapter in October in Belgium. After that, it will be in Benin in December, and in January, it will be in Congo and Senegal. So the thing is that I really wanted to make of WINA something that is more than an association. WINA and Women in Afro-Food is a global network and a performance platform for African and Afro-descendant women entrepreneurs across the food continent. So they are the beneficiaries, but we need every partner that we can get. Why women? People ask me this question a lot. Like, I'm a woman, so they said, why women? Because when I started in Afro-Food, I work with a lot of women, and I think that women are the backbone of our food system. I'm not saying that men are not important. I'm saying that women are really the backbone of this food system. They farm, they process, they distribute, they cook, they innovate, and they often lead both household and businesses. We have to talk about it. So it's not easy to be an entrepreneur, but it's not easy to be a woman entrepreneur. So we have many challenges that just us know, people will not really understand if you are not a woman. So yet, I think that the thing that hurt me so much is that we remain under-recognized and underfunded. Like, fund is important. Women need money to make their dream come true. So I think that sometimes women are underfunded, and our vision in Women in Afro-Food is to use Afro-Food as a driver of economic. This is like the first thing that we work on, is that how can you make Afro-Food an economic driver, but also cultural, because we are not just selling products, we are selling tradition, we are selling nutrition, we are selling history, we are selling things that existed even before us and will keep existing after us. So this is cultural, and this is also social empowerment. Maimuna talked about cooperative that she works with. So this is also social, that to be able to construct an ecosystem where even the people at the low of the chain of value can have some value that be coming to them. So the vision is to, as I said, Afro-Food as a driver of economic, cultural, and social empowerment led by women. So, like I said, we are opening different chapters. And each chapter acts as a local hub, connecting to a global digital platform. So I want to, with Women in Afro-Food, that I don't know if Maimuna is in French and someone sell tea in Uganda or in Kenya or somewhere, they will be able to connect, and that WINA will be, the third of confiance. I don't know how to say it in English, le tiers de confiance, but will be an actor that will say that because these two person or these two women are in Women in Afro-Food, Women in Afro-Food act, like Yeah, a partner of confiance. So in a woman in Afrofood, because I'm from tech. I'm a woman in tech before being a woman in Afrofood. So the vision with Women in Afrofood is to create a platform, a digital platform, to be able to have cross-country connections. So a processor in Cotonou can meet a Brussels distributor, a Dakara agripreneur can co-develop, something with the chef in Paris. A cooperative in Lomé can learn from someone in Congo that is in food tech. So country chapters talk to each other, and it's not in theory. Right now, we already have some chapter, and the thing is that we move and we have weekly deal room, and curating matchmaking. Because sometimes you have good idea, but we don't have the good people or the right competency. So after that, we have access to training, short practical sprints on the subject that are of interest in the group. Sometimes it's on compliance, sometimes it's on branding, sometimes it's on expert readiness, sometimes it's about digital stage. So if you are here and you have some competencies or you want to share it with us, it will be a pleasure for us to have you to help us with the training of these women. And we are really open from partnership. Because the thing is, how can we connect all those women that work in the chain of value, but a great ecosystem? Because without an ecosystem, your chain of value is, I don't know, I don't want to say nothing, but it will not work. And we work a lot on access to market. Is that how to coordinate B2B testing, pop-ups, Buyers Day, trade, fair delegation. So this is our goal. Right now we are working on a box for example, enterprise that are partners with Winner, many things, and we are really looking to make room for other entrepreneurs, not to shine alone, but to be able to do great things together. In Africa, we have a philosophy that calls Ubuntu. It's that I am because we are. And I think that we should bring that back a little bit to know that no one will ever say that I'm self-made. I think this is something that not exist. You're not self-made. Someone give you an opportunity. Someone give you access to something. Someone give you their time. So, we have to bring this Ubuntu back. And of course, access to finance is, I think, the the point that we are really want to work on, because I think that in food sector we have a lot of training, we have a lot of mentors and everything, but when we know that the business is ready, access to finance is another, struggle. So we are working on how can we structure an invest ready label for women-led food business, plus an investor cycle interested in pipeline from our chapter. The idea is to de-risk the first check, is because when we talk about made in Africa, sometimes many things come to your mind, and sometimes those things are not really good for investment. So the thing is that how can we work together to create something, a label invest ready to help those women to let their business show. In short, we now equal to network, platform, and chapters, local roots, global reach, and share a know-how, real doors opening when women rise and entire economies rise. So that is, I think, what the things I really want to say. Today, I will finish with that. Today, I don't see my role as an entrepreneur or as a consultant. I see myself as an ecosystem builder, because my vision is performance ecosystem for Afro-food and for food system, producer that will be able to deliver traceability and quality, processors that will add value and innovate in formats and shelf life, distributors that will connect to shelves and channel across Africa, Europe, and beyond. Logistics, I think it's Pamela that talked about logistics earlier, make the chain predictable and affordable. And I think it's really important. And she talked about partnerships, and I think it's really important too, is to have investors that bring smart capital, allies with growth cycles, and women entrepreneurs lead with creativity and resilience, chapter by chapter, but not to be alone. And I think that with Dokunvi, Wina, and other partners that we can have, we really want to provide the structure, the strategy, the clarity, and the cash discipline, and also the network, the platform, and this pipeline. So thank you very much. And I want to say that food is never just food. In Africa, food is never just food. Food is heritage, is culture, is soft power, and with a good structuring, clarity, ecosystem of performance, I think that African food industry can and will be a driver of wealth, influence, and pride for a generation to come. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And thank you for ending on such an agreeable, positive outlook. I think very interesting indeed. And this idea of seeing yourself as an ecosystem manager rather than a part of that ecosystem, rather the whole ecosystem, I think is very interesting. The woman in agro food, the idea that it's a technology, it's a technical platform that allows the members to improve their businesses. It's very interesting indeed. Now, we've got about 10 minutes or so, I think, to take some questions. So I've already got two here on the chat. So maybe if I can read those out, and maybe Pamela, maybe I can give the first one to you, since you were the first one to talk about what is the hardest part of scaling a food business. Pamela, do you have any comments about that from your experience?
Oh yes, I do, and well, as Oluwafemi has just mentioned, I think it's really the financing to scale the business. Because if you don't have the resources, enough finance, it's going to be very difficult to break through to many places. I just give you as an example. I was in the US in Los Angeles 3 times in a row for 3 years, promoting my brand over there in an expo. And I get all the contacts of the biggest distributors in the US. Everything seemed to be going well, except that they tell me, okay, for this to work, we will be able to put you in over 11,000 stores, but you have to put down $300,000. At the time, I didn't have the $300,000 to get I had the customers, I had the distributors and everything, but I didn't have that money. And I knew that if I try to take that money from banks, from national banks, the interest on the dollar is about between 8 and 11%. It's just not doable. And I think that's one of the hardest parts. And so I had to pull back. That opportunity was a lost opportunity. That in my mind. And also, eventually, it all comes back to money, because scaling up also means that even if you get customers and you get the money, you have to really be able to sustain the supplies. And customers want to make sure that the moment an order is there, it is delivered within a very specific period of time. So if you have suppliers who are depending on rain, who are depending on infrastructure that is not stable, you will end up not being able to scale. So that's my experience there.
Thank you so much. Very interesting. Yes, the point about finance, I think, has been made by a couple of the speakers. Maybe I can move on to the second question to make sure that we have enough time to get them all in. So what does it take to get our products from Africa to other continents? And Maimona, you mentioned as our second speaker, you talked a bit about that. I was wondering if you could have any comments on that second question. Maimona, are you just wondering if you could still hear us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. This the second question, what does it take to get our products from Africa to other continents? You had some discussion about that during your talk, so maybe you could explain a little further.
Alors, wait. I try to answer this. Donc, for me, it's take the partnership to try to do to have in Africa the partner who I believe, because I don't have another possibility, and know the commandment, and after to take the product in Africa to come here, it's a little bit difficult, because for me very often we use like DHL. This is a very complicated and very high, it's very cost, so it's a little bit difficult to do that, and to have the certification to know the quality, and here to protect my company, because the first thing I know in the African food business, the question they answer me, if it's a good quality. It's a good quality, I can believe you, that kind of question. So the first thing, if I bring the product here, is to do some, comment dirais-je, analyse. You know that? Comment on va dire ça? The
Analysis.
Yeah, the analyze, and try to make, to say, okay, it's a good product, so we can sell without, every problem. I don't know, and how can I answer this question very well? It's a little bit complicated to say more. I don't know.
No, that's a very interesting answer, and I think also you gave some answers as well, discussions during your presentation as well, about going to the ambassadors and getting the knowledge of the African products into the European market.
Yeah.
Maybe I could, sorry to rush on, but maybe I could go to the third question, which is here, and maybe Olufemi, I can ask you, because I think you touched on this as well, about getting finance. How do we get financed for those in the beginning? Is it doable to start really with a small budget? I think from your consultancy point of view, that might be an ecosystem manager and women's in agro food. I think that might be a good thing to comment on.
Okay, so I think it depends of what you already have and the things that are said with, because in consulting we will have different type of, there will be at different levels, so it's not really the same needs about financing. So the first level, when you are started, I call it bootstrap. People forget that bootstrapping is actually a way to finance your project. Bootstrapping is, I think, start with what you have. When you have an idea, I don't know, maybe you want to sell, I don't know, plantain chips. I don't know, and you first started. I think bootstrap is really important, and micro capital. So start with what you have, saving, family, small grants. I think that when you are in the beginning, I don't want to be rude, or I don't want to be, but I have to say the truth. Investors are really interested sometimes. They want to have a proof of concept, they want to be actually sure that you can do what you are saying, and that they want to have a traction, like, okay, I did that, before lending you money, even the banks and everything. So I think that when you are starting, you have to start with what you have and focus on proving the concept, if it's one recipe, one product, or one target buyer. I'm trying to answer to the question by giving some tools, not straight to the point. So I say bootstrap, start with what you have and focus on proving the concept. Like, I think the first step towards financing is to proving the concept. So you have to focus on one recipe, one product, one line, one target buyer, one things. And with this thing, you will improve. So you can, like in France, for example, Not in Africa. I don't know about, maybe in Africa, maybe we have some Enabel and things like that. But we have in France something that is called ADI, and then it's microfinancing. You know, they help you to find microfinancing. Maybe we can talk about it later. So you can, if you start, you have some proving of concept, and you need maybe a little budget to buy, I don't know, the product, the stock, or everything. You can try to look up the information, be curious and see around you. I don't know where you're from, but see if you have some program or microfinance institution that not so far. So, but the first, like the things I really want to share is that your client is your first investor. Like investor, like when you have an enterprise, a company, and your client is your fuel. So they want to see that how many clients do you have? Is your client your first investor? And then now we are sure that you have something. We will help you because you need to buy more. You need to buy more packaging. I don't know, to decrease the price. You need to, I don't know, anything. So you have also the things about cooperative and community funding. You know, you have I don't know. It's about kitchen, for example. You have shared kitchen. You have joint container. You have collective stand at first. You have some resources that can help you dramatically reduce costs. So you can try to see something like that. Some food entrepreneurs start in dark kitchen, you know, like maybe they don't have the money to have their own restaurant, their own kitchen. So they start with dark kitchen, or they start with the local initiative that provided. You have pop-up also. So you have to I think to be an entrepreneur, you have to be creative. You have to be that I have a little things. How can I do more with this later? So you have to think and be creative. You have public program and incubator. Sometimes you can look for incubator grants, diaspora initiative, state-supported innovation fund. They often give small, non-dilutive capital or technical support. Maybe, I don't know, like BIC, I don't know if they provide something they serve, or local agency. You have, I know the European ecosystem, so you have Proparco, Inabe, you have things like that. You have also what I call early revenue as financing. One of the smartest way for me to finance is to sell early. You have to secure pre-order. Like, I don't know if I want to create right now a brand about superfood in Africa, moringa, for example. If I wanted to start, I will think about the storytelling. After all the partners and everything, I will try to sell before, produce it. So I think that one of the smartest ways sometimes to finance is to sell early. So you have to secure pre-orders. I think it's a good idea. So it will give you the opportunity to cash in advance, the contract to help you fund your production. And you have, if you are lucky, angel and diaspora investor. For those who validate their model quickly, you have diaspora network, and this diaspora network can become your first angel. But what I want to say is that investor wants structure and clarity. And that's why we have on Dokunve this clarity and cash flow pillar, because we think that this is the basiest thing. Even if you don't want to have to access to finances, the fact that you will have this structure and this clarity in your mind is important. And only you will have your answer by doing, not by thinking about it too much. So the field will give you all the answer that you need. So you have to get it started. So this is what I can share, what I can tell.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Excellent answer. Thank you. Excellent and complete answer. We've come to the end of our time. So first of all, from my side, thank you so much for everyone who's participated today and the questions and the Q&A session. I think that there were 3 very good questions there, which allowed our speakers to explain a little bit more from their experience and knowledge. That was very good indeed. Of course, I want to thank the 3 speakers. for myself as moderator. Thank you so much for your passion. Thank you so much for your descriptions. Thank you so much for making sure that that we had an interesting discussion today, and I really like the informal way and passionate way that it was done. If it's okay, maybe Christina, I can hand over to you for any final any final words in the wrap up.
Yeah, thank you so much, Douglas. Thank you for moderating the session and summarizing and asking interesting questions. And thank you to our three speakers. I think your stories were really inspiring, and your storytelling as well. Thank you so much for being here. We really learned a lot from you. And I think this video will be available online as well. So for any other entrepreneurs who would like to listen to it later, it will be available, and I hope that they can reach out to you. Oluwafemi, also, just to let you know, we had an acceleration program for women entrepreneurs.
Okay.
So I will share the information about the women in Afri-Food, with them, because I think it could be of relevance to some of them.
That will be fine.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Christina.